Well, it is Monday night, and I'm doing something I don't get to do as often as I would like, and that is just fooling around with watches. It's been so busy doing all this crazy stuff. Anyway, I'm checking back in with an update on my Chevron. Okay, so it's been, let me get that out of there, it's reflecting. So I opened it up just to get some people up to speed. These Chevron sport divers they're pretty rare. You just don't see them very often. This one specifically really isn't seen very often, and it also appears in a pretty prominent and notable full color ad from the day. So it's not easy to get a hold of, and it was on one of the greatest Seiko, marketing images I've seen. It's beautiful. Maybe I'll put in a picture of it here. Any case, so they're rare enough that like 13, 14 years ago, I had one of these, missing its rotating ring, missing its bezel, and I sold it to somebody, I don't remember who. Fast forward 13 years, I buy a big collection of watches from a friend of mine who's lightening the load, and this, I didn't even know this was going to be included. This just came out of the box, wrapped up, of course. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And it was missing its rotating ring. I'm like, that's so cool, man. I was just thinking about my old watch, 2 weeks ago. But I assumed that this one, I was looking it over real carefully. And when I saw that little blue paint thing right there, I suddenly knew that this was in fact mine, because I did that. It's one of the first dial repairs I ever did, and probably one of the first put-togethers I've ever done. So I wasn't quite sure what I was going to find when I opened it up. So here, if I can find it, here is what I found when I opened it up. So I don't know, it didn't look bad, but when I opened up, this is a 6106. That means it's 17 joules and it's hacking. It's very specific. It's a common movement. This is its sibling movement, a 6119C. And this one, I opened it up and I was looking at it on this side, and I realized, well, one, it's the wrong movement. It doesn't hack, which is annoying. The second thing is I had installed the Diafix spring incorrectly, so it had popped out of place. So, I mean, I give myself credit for having even managed to get the darn things in there. They're like a false mustache for an ant. They're tiny. So anyway, let's get back to this point. Hang on. So I have a lot of orphaned movements in my collection. Watchmakers would strip watches apart all the time for parts and stuff, so I have a good amount of them. So I went through and I looked and I found the movement that I thought was best overall and most original. You'll see this one is nice and pretty. So I serviced this one up. This is a 6106C, which it's supposed to be, and it's stock. But I have put in the upper and lower mainspring arbor jewels. So that's running in, and I'm happy with that. That looks pretty good. Let me put that over here. Here's the dial. I'm not doing anything with it right now. I haven't cleaned it in any way, haven't done anything to it. So I got to look it over. This is that Diny green loom. Boy, that's in nice condition. The biggest thing for me here is to be able to get that piece of ancient enamel off there without damaging anything around it. And when I clean this thing, oh, it's going to be pretty. That is one of Seiko's crazy blues. The hands, came out pretty okay. That's the original loom. Top one's a little darkened down. I I might touch that one up some, but it's the original loom. And so it matches the dial, and that's a very good thing. Put that back over there. The last thing I had to do, because just like 15, 13 years ago, it didn't have a rotating ring then, and it still doesn't now. So I went, well, let's back up. This thing had a silver rotating ring, well, pretty much. Whoops, sorry about that. So this thing did have, this model had a rotating ring. That's the correct ring. It's not the correct insert, though, unfortunately. These sport divers had a few different models. Basically, see how this one is, you know, it looks like a classic dive bezel insert. It's this kind of insert, but in silver and black, like this. That's what this thing used to have, or should have. I've got another example of that same pattern. So I have a decision to make. What am I going to do? Because like these inserts, they're the same style, right? The same pattern with the markers, with the little hashes instead of the dots, a different font. I mean, am I going to drive myself crazy finding the correct original one for this? I don't know. Because actually, I prefer this classic diver numbered thing. That's pretty cool, though. All right. Quick divergence. So these things, that's a 5126. It's what's left of this is what's left of a common rider. That's another version of it. I don't think that's the right bezel, but check this out. Okay, so here we go. We're looking at this Caseback. See that? There you are, 51, 26, 80, 90, Seiko Sua lightning bolt. Chick, chick, chick. And you'll notice the upper point is pointing to the right, lower to the left. So it is in effect spinning this way. Doop, doop, doop. Right and left. I've never seen this in another watch. This tiny lightning bolt is backwards, but it's absolutely a genuine part. My current theory is that this Caseback was made by Sua for Daini, and they hadn't figured it out yet because the two Casebacks are constructed differently. This one is stamped. This one is machined. Machined is a Daini thing. This is a Sua. So this, I'm believing, this is a Sua backwards lightning bolt common rider. How's that, huh? A Sua backwards lightning bolt comma rider. So it's a sub variant. 85, 83. They're beautiful movements, the 5126s. They really are. In fact, that is what I'm wearing right now. This is the 5126 8080 JDM piece. It's English only. I'm sorry, English only, but it's a JDM piece. These are super cool. This is original. This dial, it's literally the same. It's a 62 MAS dial. When the 62 MAS was discontinued, Daini went ahead and made a sport diver, because sport divers were the big thing around then. So they went ahead and made a sport diver, and they used the blanks or the templates or whatever from the 62 MAS, gave them a day date instead of just a date, changed the position of the feet, but that's it. It's literally a 62 MAS style with different printing, different dial feet, and day date instead of date. Other than that, the markers are identical. So that's pretty cool. This isn't the correct original bracelet. I just put it on this Stellux fish scale because I just like the way it looks. Doesn't it look neat? Anyway, that's a cool watch. That's cool. May 1968. Okay, that's enough of that digression. Another reason I actually prefer this ring, it looks kind of, you know, It's a little chewed up and all that. It's still a work in progress, but I'm pretty proud of it, because this whole section around the pip, it was all gone. There literally there was, that's original, that's original right there. This is sort of the first workings of me trying to make it happen again, and that's an original Seiko pip. This was tough to do. I still have to clean it up. That was tough to do. Took me some real work, and I still haven't finished. But I'm very proud of the fact that I have saved this thing. In this process, I may be able to, well, maybe able to, I've started to repair inserts where this is broken right here, because this little piece of aluminum, if this thing was exposed to a lot of oxidating, stuff, it would eat through right here. So repairing these is kind of a big deal. And so I've been working on that out of necessity, because I wanted to put this back on. So what do you guys think? Would it look better if it had its correct hash mark rotating ring in silver, or do you like it like this? Don't spare my feelings. You go ahead and tell me what you think.